Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Cowcornia seed, reseeded in Minecraft 1.18 Snapshot 21w41a. The one that oh my goodness, right away. Let's get rid of that. New beginnings. Wow. Like a fresh sunny day right after a rain. Anyway, how you doing? And since this is they've completely changed the terrain generation in this snapshot. They changed the random number generator in the coding, and also apparently the seeds were 48-bit before. Now they are 64-bit, which means a lot more unique seeds, more than really you would ever need. In a lifetime of playing. If you went through them one by one, you would never come anywhere close to exhausting even a 48-bit. 64-bit, even more unique, because why not? Anyway, looks like the sun is going down. Let's set that earlier in the morning. That's a little better. Anyway, here we are. Since things are starting anew, we're starting this one at spawn. This is should be right about it. If I move around, you can see the compass flipping around there, because we're like right on it, right about yeah, right back there. So yeah, let's take a look around. Up. There we go. Here's the spawn area. I was exploring around here a little bit. So that tree might be a little bit bigger than it was before. The first thing that struck me was that the landscape actually, in this snapshot, a bit more closely resembles my original Cowcornia world. In that I had kind of an island going on next to ocean, and with a little river separating it from the mainland. And that's kind of what we got here, except a bit bigger, I guess. And of course, the rivers themselves are a bit bigger as well. Everything's a bit more scaled up. They didn't just scale vertically, they scaled horizontally as well. Over this way, it's a bit different. Instead of icebergs and desert across the waters, we've got a mountain and some stone shore there, which are also nice. But yeah, this is the spawn area. Basically a nice little hill here with a forest biome on it. We've got a ruined portal right nearby. And over this way, just out over this way a little bit, we've got a nice little ocean monument there. So yeah, a couple choices for adventure if that's what you're looking for. Plus a nice, pretty flat island here. If you get that lit up nice, you could make a big sprawling base here with lots of room for agriculture and other farms. Pretty nice. And with some other land across the way there if you want to set some things up a bit more remotely. And this one over here as well. I'm not sure if that's an island or not. Could be. Yeah. Well, no, it's just a continuation of this one. But and I'm not sure if that one ends over there at all. But there are some other islands over here. This stony one over here with a little bit of wood on it as well. That might be a good spot for another little outpost there. Build yourself a little tower or something here on the stone, and put your agriculture over here by the dirt. There's lots of things you could do. But we want to explore a little bit. But first, I want to check out a few of the locations that we've been to before. And first off, I want to take a look, and this is kind of neat. Get the right teleport here. We're going to revisit Cool Mountain. Whoops, I grabbed the wrong thing. I absolutely grabbed the wrong coordinates. These were the coordinates for Charming Mountain, which was sort of a consolation prize for losing Cool Mountain way back when. This weather again, I swear. Oh, and light. Oh, something got hit over there. Just the ground, I guess. Too bad it wasn't one of those creepers. Anyway, this is the site of Cool Mountain, and you might see that little bits of it are a little bit familiar, especially this shipwreck right here on the beach, which is something that was really a constant, and actually maybe this ravine here as well, which is kind of implying that while the whole landscape and biome distribution has changed, there are some things that are still the same, which is odd. A little bit puzzling, as is this little strip of chunks that were not loading up for some reason, but now they are. So yeah, I just happened to revisit that. Figured, okay, let me just revisit all these little places we've been to, and I saw this. I was like, okay. I mean, we no longer have a swamp over here, and of course, we've long not since had the mountain right here, which is such a pity. But yeah, we have a little bit of the mountains in the back there, and I'm curious what else is going on. I know that there was a village out this way. Let's see if there still is. Because if structures like that are still about where they were before, and it didn't look, I don't see a village here, but then again, maybe the terrain just doesn't lend itself to it. I mean, that's kind of dictate things like that. But yeah, if there are some things that are kind of persisting, that's kind of an interesting thing too. And this could have been just luck of the draw that the spawn area kind of reminded me of the the 1.17 era terrain generation, because I think it's probably just a coincidence. But yeah, I think you just there's only so many different types of terrain, so many different general arrangements of things, water this way, land this way, the different biome types. It's kind of finite. There's always going to be little differences in the details as far as exactly the pattern of the shore there. But the broad strokes can sometimes echo the older generation a bit, I think. I mean, it's still Minecraft. It's still got a lot of the same stuff. We do have some new biomes in there, and of course things are going to be different. But this is amazingly the same. So I'm wondering about the cave carvers now, especially given this ravine that seems to be in the same spot. I'm wondering if maybe the cave carvers are still using the old random number generator. Not? Are they? I don't know. Is that another change that's going to be coming down in the next snapshot? If for some reason it's like, oh yeah, we did the terrain with the new random number generator, but we didn't do the caves with it. We gotta do that too. So any caves and ravines and other carved features we see in here, those might be changing down the road themselves, while the overall landscape stays the same. So that's something to be watching for. And actually, another thing to listen for is that my microphone is working. Always got to check that. If you've watched any of my streams before, you know this. All right, so let's see. What do we want to look at next? Okay, that was Cool Mountain. The place where, let's see. And this you may have seen if you watch my YouTube channel. This is the former site of the Lush Cave Cliffs. Any day now. Here we are. And as you can see, this was the view. Looking at it, I believe this is the exact view that I was using for generating the screenshots for my... Oh my goodness. Stop it, weather. For my evolution videos on YouTube, showing how the different landscapes changed over the course of the snapshots. In this case, the land just disappeared altogether. Just about. There's a little island there. I think there's a couple maybe over this way. Of course, there's a nice little ocean monument there, right next to a ruined portal. So that's convenient. And I think there's like a little bitty spot of land. Like I guess it's over this way, since that's what's left to generate. Hello? Or to load up anyway. Why does it have this little spot there? Okay, they need to fix that. Anyway, yeah, I guess it's just this one little spot there, and I think there was like a little bit on the horizon somewhere. What do I have the render distance set to? 32. Okay. So yeah, there's a bit more land out there this way, I think, somewhere. Maybe if I come down a little lower, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, there's just not much land here at all, as far as a landscape. Now the next stop, we're gonna go ahead and skip where the Porous Peaks were, because there's not really much there. So let's see. We do have, however, one other place that I want to stop, and this is a view of where in my original world the Atrium Base is, and there is something interesting here. Once this loads up, there's stone shore, and all this taiga mountains basically is really nice. We'll let this load up a bit so you can get the full effect of it all around. Takes a little bit. I should probably toggle the render distance just to dump some of the stuff out of the video memory. But it's coming along okay, I guess. Well, come along, okay? All right. Reloading all those chunks. The thing should be going a bit faster. Yeah, there we go. That'll be a bit smoother. Because we want to have this one smooth. We're going to be getting in a little closer in because we got some interesting stuff in this one. Because we are in the area of our feature presentation today. Because right over here is the Lush Cave Cove. Now, is it technically a cove? Maybe it's more of a small bay? Not really an inlet? I'm not sure. Would you call that a cove? Because we have the ocean over here. Now, I would definitely call this a cove because if you come over this way a little bit, this whole stony thing is actually an island. There's like a 1 block gap between there. Those don't connect there. That's not connected. But there's like a little 1 block gap, and then like basically a little tunnel going through to this little cove here. So that's a nice little hidden cove. This would be a nice spot for a base, I think. You can do a lot of things on here. Maybe put a bridge going across to the mainland here. Put some little tunnels. But really the star of the show here, and you saw it in the title, we call this the Lush Cave Cove. And I'll give you a guess why. It's pretty much this. And I want to do one other thing. Switch me over to the stream. Okay. In we go. Oh, be quiet, you. Lush Cave. And there were some axolotls in here earlier. Maybe we'll find some later. But as you can see, the entrance is pretty non-assuming, but this goes in quite a ways. It's fairly extensive. And goes down even further. It's huge. It is absolutely huge. You got glowberries for miles. I don't know if you can plant glowberries on the ceiling. Excuse me. I need to look that up, but if you can, that's a really nice thing. It's even right down to the deep slate or whatever the heck they call it. And oh, let's take care of that. We don't need that bugging us. And then down into here, I don't think do the Lush Caves extend down below Y0? Not sure. Maybe a little bit. Look at this. This is absolutely spectacular. There's just so much of it. You can be in here forever. In fact, I think I may be lost. I'm not sure I'll be able to find my way back out, to be honest. Oh, and it goes down even further down here. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Where are we now? How far down does this go? We're at Y minus 47. And this went all the way up to the entrance. I don't know. Does this go? It goes even more over here. How far does it go? Hello, creeper. Oh my goodness. That's a tight squeeze there. We'll go over this way. Oh my goodness. See, this is just crazy huge. Crazy huge. Okay, I think we got a geode nearby. I'm thinking that's the geode in here. Can you hear it? Oh, that's pretty. I'm not going to bust in. I don't want to ruin it. And then down over this way. More glowberries. More lush caves. And this might be another way out to the same section. Oh my goodness, can I get out through here? Yeah. And this might be the end of the line. Let's see if we can find our way out. Holy cow. See, that's going to be the interesting thing. I may need to resort to spectator mode. Whoa. What happened there? What made those fall? Is it the growth of the glowberry vines? Interesting. Let's see, let's go way up here. Oh, what have we got? Oh, glow squid in the aquifer there. You see that sometimes, and I've seen them spawning like basically like in a waterfall and then just falling to their deaths. I think some thought, and we got fish over here. I think some thought needs to be, yeah, some thought needs to be put into where these guys spawn. Maybe, oh, and the fish over here getting out of the water. Yeah. I think maybe they need to do a little bit of refinement of where the fish are spawning. Because some of the places like that are really not conducive to life. So, yeah, holy cow, look at all this. It's just huge. And where's the way out? Because we want to find the way out. I mean, this is kind of the star of the show, but by that same token, every theater has an exit. Where is it for this one? Ah, here we are. We're going up to the top here. And it looks like it's nighttime, which is actually a good opportunity to take a look around. And I think, yeah, the cliffs are over this way, I think. Yeah, so we're coming out from this side over here. It's like there's like just constantly different ways out of it. I've explored this, gone into there at least 2 or 3 times, and like each time I've come out a different way. They're just all over the place in there. I'm not going to spectator it. I'm not going to duck down unless I absolutely have to get out of something like that. Because I don't want to spoil it. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the, oh, snowing. I'm going to put the seed in the Twitch chat here, so people can copy and paste. And I'm going to display it there as well, so you can. Oh wow, thunder snow, nice. We'll clear that. But there's the seed. If you want to write that down, hopefully you have already. But you know, if you're watching this on YouTube later, you can always pause it. And let's go back to daytime. And yeah, that's the one spectacular thing that that I found. I didn't do a lot of pre-exploration. I just checked out a few of the of those landmarks, and this one happened to find when I was visiting the Atrium Base site, which would have been like over here someplace. In past reseeds, we've had a like a little taiga village over here. And we do have taiga, but not a village that I can tell. And I just happened to spot that over there. I said, "Oh, we have a successor to the Lush Cave cliffs." And it looks like we have, interesting, like a Lush Cave biome on the surface by this taiga here. That's interesting. I wonder if it goes into a cave down below, or if it's just that typically it looks like a cave there. So we can drop down a little faster. All right, yeah. Wow, waterfall and everything. Oh, that is nice. Yeah, this is a nice little thing too. There's the Lush Caves. Well, this one doesn't go in all that far unless it goes in a bit more over here, but maybe not. A little bat. And then we get a little hump over here. I wonder if we'll see some axolotls in there at some point. And then here it only goes down, so, well, maybe it goes a little farther. Oh, hello, creeper. How are you? Can I put this on a creeper? Can I aim? Nope. Can't do it. Oh, well. I was going to lead him around a little bit. Oh, there's a little more over here. Not a lot. Okay. So this one is nowhere near as extensive as the ones over in the mountains over here. But that's okay. It has its charm. That's a nice little place to sit and relax. And looks like you got some caves down in here as well, though. So, yeah, this is an interesting area. As far as places where you might put a base or a small little outpost or something. There's some potential for some spots here. I'd like to see what some of the more accomplished builders will do. I mean, I've watched some of the guys over on like Hermitcraft, and they just do some amazing stuff. I'd be curious to see what they do that would kind of blend in with the surroundings here. I'm sure some of it could do just some stuff that's absolutely beautiful, and then others would make these redstone monstrosities that would just okay. Let's mine the entire mountain or whatever. But hey, it's all in good fun. All right, so I think what we need to do is start exploring. And traditionally, in these explorations, I have followed the coast. So let's see where this leads. Does this have any coast nearby, or is it just a big island sticking out into the water here? And are we going to be getting any more chunks generating? I certainly hope so. Let's see what we get over here. A little bit of an island. Looks like we mostly just have more ocean this way, which is not bad. I haven't really explored much of the ocean because you can't really see very far down in it, and so maybe it doesn't lend itself that well to these exploration videos because it takes a while to get stuff out. One thing I have noticed, and I'm sure a lot of you have as well, is that the icebergs, there are much larger icebergs as well. I mean, everything has been scaled up. You see these big mounds of ice. And let's pop on over there just to see an example. Oh, what is this? Rain. That's what this is. Clear the weather, please. Clear the weather. Thank you. So yeah, you see a lot more of these big honking icebergs. Just higher and broader and a bit more rounded up top. Question is, how deep down do they go? Do they fit with the reputation of icebergs as being like 90% or whatever under the water? Let's drop down, take a look. What can we see? It looks like these just go all the way down to the ocean floor. So they're just kind of resting on the ocean floor. So they go down deep. They do. I wonder how deep they would go if the ocean was deep enough for it. That would be interesting to see. And it looks like we have, yeah, some other structures here, but just this one, or I guess two, happen to poke up over the surface. I've seen them do, oh my good, 9. So yeah, if you watch my YouTube channel, you may have seen my latest video as of this recording, as of when we're live streaming this. Latest video, I did a tour around the extent of where, why is this pausing? Around the extent of where I had previously explored before converting the world to the new snapshot. And I was converted from where it had been generated in like starting in 1.15, 1.16, and 1.17. So it was basically in the borderlands between the old 1.17 and earlier terrain generation and the new 1.18 terrain generation. And there were some interesting things happening along the border. What they have said that they're working on is to have it kind of blend, at the edges there. And they've talked about having it basically do some alterations of the terrain that's already generated. They're not doing that yet. Still not. This is like the third snapshot that has allowed you to bring in, older worlds. It's still not doing that blending at the edges. It's just a sharp cut right there. If you're going from, like ocean to mountains, you're just going to see just a cutaway view of the side of that mountain, caves or everything. It's just going to be right in there. Likewise, they're also supposed to be doing generation, I believe, of new blocks and caves underneath where you currently have your bedrock. And that bedrock, I believe, is going to be converted to the deep slate, or whatever the heck they're calling it. I forget. I've lost track. We'll go this way. And then new caves and mineral deposits and ores and all that will be generated below there in those 64 layers of blocks below. So it's like it's doubling up your underground, which basically means that all those areas that you've already explored, you're gonna have. Oh, this one got stuck in the ice. Little ship there. You're gonna have all that existing terrain generation, right down to the existing bedrock. So if you've explored a fair amount but haven't mined down there, you're still going to have a lot of areas where you could go and strip mine down at Y11 and get all your ores down there, nice and handy, the way you're used to, and then dig down below and get all the generation down there. Including, presumably, once 1.19 comes out, the Deep Dark. That's going to get interesting. If you've watched Minecraft Live or seen any of the videos that Mojang have put out since then about what's coming out. Oh, this is nice. Interesting, down in the ice as well. If you've seen any of those videos, you know that they are doing like the deep, dark, abandoned cities, and which will be guarded by the warden and all that. It looks like it's going to be pretty spectacular, much expanded over what they had initially announced when they were announcing 1.17 coming out. They were talking about doing the deep dark and having the warden and all that. But they've very much expanded on what that will be. There's like abandoned cities down there now. And the all the shulker different blocks, those are expanded and have more interesting behaviors and all, and it's gonna be really interesting. I do look forward to see people trying to tackle the warden. I don't know if there's going to be any kind of even an achievement for it, other than saying, "Hey, check this out, I got the warden." Because I don't think it's even going to be having any drops. I don't know if it's going to be like an achievement that it'll pop up for it or not. Don't know. But the intention, from what they've said, is basically for this thing to be a force of nature that you have to work to avoid triggering. It is a very bad thing when it comes out. Not a challenge. The challenge is not to defeat it. The challenge is to avoid it. And then there are ways to do that. And they kind of describe the mechanism in more detail of how it gets triggered or summoned or awakened or whatever by the things that you do. So we're kind of going around at random here. Some nice ice spikes. I've seen some that are like way up on the hills and things. That it's just really spectacular. Kind of curious at some point to see how some of the things in here generate that I saw on the Borderlands when I had I was using basically the same seed, but updating my old world using the existing terrain, and how well it just slices in there. Because some of the things I remember at one point in the converted world, I went over to I think it was Cool Mountain, that location, and I think that was in an area that hadn't generated yet, so it was generating the terrain, but it didn't do the shipwreck there, which was strange. And I'm thinking now it might have been because it was too close to the border of where I had already generated terrain. And if you'll, watch the video I did on that about misplaced structures near the border, check that out on YouTube. It's kind of interesting because it looks like when you when you load a previously existing world from a previous version of Minecraft, some of the structures out on the edge of your explored area, it looks like they may generate before their chunks are generated, before the blocks in their chunks are generated. So they'll just have a structure. It's like, okay, they're kind of reserving that place for that structure out there. It's like, yeah, this is where it's going to be, but they haven't generated all the blocks yet. And then along comes the 1.18, and it's generating all those blocks completely different, but it's still got that structure there, and it could be in a completely different biome. So you might see, something like a sunken ship, like in the middle of the taiga, or a what you call it, savanna or whatever. Not something that you would expect, and well up from the beach. That kind of thing. Ocean ruins, like up in places like that as well. Whoops. There we go. Clear this weather. Snowy. Pretty, but it's a lot for the video. There's probably a way to just turn that off altogether, but I don't know it, and I'm not gonna mess with it right now. All right, let's strike out over this way. Looks like spawn is to our left somewhere. I am totally not sure what direction we're going at this point. Let's take a look. We are headed north. Okay, so we're east of spawn. Atrium Base, that was actually south of spawn. So, oh, there's a monument right down there. So I guess we kind of headed east and then turned north. So that's fine. We can do that. A lot of icebergs. This is what I'm talking about. These huge icebergs. It reminds me almost of the End Islands. Just a bit more that scale. And yeah, it's going to be a bit more interesting to explore. I mean, they're spaced farther apart too, so going through by boat, I think might be a bit easier to pick your way through. If you're doing that, they are spaced out a bit more. Although, you get over to stuff like this, and you got all the ice flows to worry about as well. But in the places with just the bergs, that looks like you'll have more and bigger gaps to go through. At least just looking at that one field of icebergs. It could be that is atypical. Okay, come on now. Load up, you chunks. What are you doing? Pause it a little bit too. What are we looking at here? But toggling your render distance like that kind of resets it manually. So if you're toddling along and your frames per second are just really getting laggy, do something like that and that'll help. A lot smoother now. We're still generating chunks though, so that's going to be giving it a hit. If we were to just sit in one place for a while and let them load up, it would catch up a bit. But we got things to see. This way. Over there. And what do we have here? We haven't been seeing quite so many mountains in this expedition as we have in the past. Let's let things load up. Maybe they're a little farther in the distance here. Maybe these coastal areas are just a little flatter now. Or maybe it's just in this world. So I wonder, each seed, is it just basically all following the same thing, the same balances of different terrains? Or is part of the deal for each seed where it kind of also generates what like say from the beginning, a different different balances as far as like what biomes are going to be more prominent and stuff like that. Because that could, whoa, what is going on here? That, what am I doing? It almost looks like it was just opened right up. Oh, maybe the sand fell? Yeah, I think like the sand fell in there. Yeah, something triggered that. And then it just fell down into that ravine. That was kind of cool. Yeah, I guess just walking along through your world, you wouldn't get to see that. Because it probably would happen before you came within sight of it. But flying over like this to explore, I guess you get to see stuff like that a bit more often. It's interesting. Whoops, here we go. Clear that weather. Yeah, let's head over this way. Keep following the coast. Spawn is pretty much behind us. I think we're heading northeast. It says north and east. Yeah. I wish they had those secondary directions. Or whatever you call them. All right. What were we saying? Oh yeah, northeast. So yeah, the cardinal directions. When you look on here, it'll tell you north, south, east, west. Which I mean, you can kind of orient yourself. You can see the blocks. If you're looking at them at a diagonal, then you know, okay, yeah, we're not squarely on there. Oh, well, looky here. we've got us a woodland mansion. And again, I'm wondering if some of these are just appearing at the same coordinates as before. And it is just set right into a hill, isn't it? What are the coordinates here? 2604, 187, minus 1088. And that is above. Let's squish this over this way a little bit. All right. There's your coordinates. 2607, 187, 1090, minus 1096. So if you want to teleport over here in what you call it, in survival, you'll at least be over water. Or if you want to, try trekking over by foot and by boat, I recommend by boat because, the entrance is off the water here. Apparently whoever built this is from Venice. Peeking inside. Yeah, our dudes are waiting for us. Yep. And it just goes right into the hillside. And cuts in a bit there. So yeah, that'd be an interesting find if you were coming from over this direction. Come down the hill, and there you are right on the roof. Ready to bust into the window there. That would be an interesting thing. But anyway, whoops. Did not mean to do that. What I meant to do was continue onward and upward. Or a little bit upward. We don't want to go too far upward. If we do that, and we miss stuff. Oh, an azalea right there on the shore. I wonder what could be underneath. Don't see a water cave, but I didn't happen to see any other cave entrances. Maybe in the dark we would see it. That's another thing if you, oh, here's a village right over there. Not that far from the woodland mansion. Or the hillside mansion, I guess we should call it. What are we looking at? Oh, yeah. 15, 16 frames per second. Very nice. So, yeah, if you got a beefier processor than I do, and you can see I just got a little i3 10100, yeah, I'm only doing so much on this thing. If you have something a bit beefier, maybe you can handle the 32 chunks on this. If you got bedrock, I'll just go take a hike. I'm a Java man. Java edition, that is. I like it. I don't do a lot of mods, but I do like Optifine. And I do hope that they do some good things with this. It's going to get interesting. Especially once we get to 1.19. Whoops. Because I'm curious to see whether the Optifine developers decide to go ahead and make fireflies emitters for dynamic lighting. They did it with the glow squids. If you load up Optifine 1.17, yeah, your glow squids will actually light up their surroundings, not just be shiny. It's really nice. Another sunken ship. Maybe we should take another trek across land. Because I'm only doing this until like 12:30. I do have certain commitments and obligations that I need to tend to. Actually had a chore to do this morning. Had to get my car inspected. It's something that was kind of behind on. Was supposed to get that done like last month. Forgot about it. You know, just never even looked at the sticker for, the past year. Oh, look at this big mountainside village here. I'm sure Mumbo Jumbo would like to see something like this because this, hey, look at that. It just happens naturally. They're not as colorful as his, but, well, there you go. See now, if Minecraft would add the capacity to, say, craft paint, I'm not sure what you would mix up to make paint, but, yeah, to have paint and then just, use it and right-click it on blocks to color them, that I think would be pretty cool. It'd be interesting to see how much of that you would use if you have it like in a bottle or whatever, and just have it have whatever kind of whatever kind of duration it would have. Not duration. What am I thinking? Let's see what I'm talking about. What the heck am I talking about? I don't know. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Durability. Just have it use up, have some small amount of durability, and each time you use it on a block to color it, it uses up a little bit of it. And then there's the question of, can you enchant your paint with unbreaking, and will that make it extend? Or would you want a different enchantment? Would you want a different enchantment on your paint? Would you be able to apply infinity to your paint and be able to just paint as long as you want in whatever color you got? Or something analogous to unbreaking, because, paint doesn't break. So, thematically, you'd kind of want it to be called something else, to basically let you extend your paint, or maybe craft some paint thinner that you add to it, and and it extends the durability on it, something like that. Oh, we got a nice little valley over here as well. It'd be really cool if the village were in the valley. Ooh, but a big ravine down in there, though. Oh, and some dripstone caves. Yeah, that'd be kind of neat. Is this a... I thought maybe there was a pass over here. I guess this really is the pass going into the valley. So you'd have to have some paths going up here, but it looks kind of steep. You have to come up from over this way, I guess, and have a path going around over here to the village. That could work. Or just have no paths at all. Have it be, a little hidden valley. If that's not trademarked. Well, trademarks are supposed to be fairly narrow, though. So just because someone's trademarked it for ranch dressing doesn't mean you can't use it for other things. Although some people, when they're registering their trademarks, it's like they're registering it for just everything, even if they're not actually using it for that thing. And over here, I wanted to pay a visit to this because, from what I understand, there's a little something going on with these. And you notice it's got a bunch of these little practice dummies. It's got a cage here, no golem in it. Maybe this one has one. Yeah, this one's got a golem. But you notice that there's something fairly essential that's missing. And that is there's no pillagers. like at all. And what's going on is these structures that have associated spawns with them. You know how the pillager outpost will just keep spawning new pillagers. You know, as you knock off the ones that were there already. Or the ocean ruins spawning drowns. They're not doing that. They're not spawning them. Some of them will initially generate with some, and so you'll see some drowned around the ocean ruins, and of course it's in ocean, so occasionally you'd see some spawning anyway. But other than that, they don't. Let me get back to heading north over here, I think. I think that's where we were generally headed. And there's been a bug since 21w39a that has had that effect. And I just noticed it actually this snapshot because I was taking a closer look at the at some of the pillager outposts. There was one. It was one of the things that I was looking at for that video I made on misplaced structures near the border from the old terrain generation to the new when you're having a converted world. So I was looking at those. There were some of those that were like kind of perched up on floating islands. Like there was one that had like the outpost itself, the main building, and like a pile of cut logs that were near it, and each was sitting on its own little blob of land at a different height than the rest of the surrounding terrain. Oh, and here's another one right over here. And so I was, taking a closer look at it, and I noticed there were no pillagers. So at first I thought, oh, this might be, an effect of, this this structure being, actually originating from the old terrain generation, but then the new terrain generation comes in, it generates the, whatever underlying, the blocks and chunks and all that, and somehow whatever, tag is on the chunks around this that marks it as being places where these pillagers should be spawning, it doesn't get there. So that's what I was originally thinking was happening. Then I found the bug report for it, and it's just happening in general to these structures, whether they're in a converted world or originally seeded in these snapshots or what. It doesn't matter. It just happens on all of it. So that's what's going on there. A neat little cave over here with some waterfalls going down it. We haven't seen a lot of high mountains in this trip. I wonder where they are. It looks like we may have some deep caves, relatively deep. I mean, yeah, in like 116, 117, this would be, or at least 116, this would be considered just absolutely huge, just gigantic. It's like if you were playing like 116 and happened upon this, you would be like, what the heck? Why is it raining? Is the spider getting wet? Is that why he's crawling away? That's exactly what you'd be thinking. You'd also be thinking, where are these lights coming from? What's going on down there? Is there like hidden little bits of lava someplace that I'm not seeing? But you would be wrong, because that's not what it is at all. I do see all that light over there, and I think, oh, what's doing that? And it is this ravine here letting the light through. And this gap over here as well. Watch your step sheet. You don't want to fall in there. Alright, which way is north? We want to continue north? Alright. And let's head on. See, that loaded up nice and quick, actually. And we're up at, still 20 or so. Again, we kind of went forward a little bit, so it's generating some new terrain. Let's see what happens once that loads up. Yeah. Hear the fans go down, or I could anyway. And the FPS pops up again. Still, it's limited. 32 chunks render distance is just outrageous for this kind of world, this kind of terrain. But I want you guys to be able to see that far. I really do, because we're exploring. We're just, having a little fun. We're not trying to play. We're not trying to do any PvP or, fighting off monsters and stuff. Frames per second are not that critical in this situation. Makes for smoother video, but I mean, we're like way up here, so there's not going to be a lot of fast motion that needs, super high frame rates. What I would like would be for these chunks to generate a little faster. Come on, chunks. Let's do it. Here, chunky, 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 chunky. I want some chunky chunks. I want some big old high mountains. Let's have some big old high mountains. Give me that chunky chunks. Let's see that pachunka chunk. I mean, relative to, what we had before, in like, 1.17 and earlier, I mean, maybe these are high mountains. It's hard to say because really the way they also expanded the biome sizes laterally, it kind of makes the proportions similar. And really, it's not until you kind of look side by side and see, how you're looking at what looked like, same size mountains, you can see how much, smaller the blocks are, or appear when you're looking at it like that. That it's like, oh yeah, that actually is bigger. Little village over here. Ooh, it looks like it has an aquifer with a cave underneath it down here. That's neat. Tell the kids not to go swimming in that, because that's kind of dangerous. Not as dangerous as the swimming situation in one of the videos, one of the villages that I feature in the video that I posted on YouTube just last night. There's one in there that is just amazingly dangerous. You should check that out. But yeah, that's dangerous enough. I'm not sure what's underneath that, but I don't know if I want to find out. If I were them. What do we have over here? Just a little broken terrain with some pumpkins, appropriate to the season. Again, we're kind of heading west now, aren't we? And a little village over that way. Oh, looks like we lost the stream there for a moment. Go ahead and let the terrain generate a little bit while we're getting back on. Looks like we're reconnected. Whoops. If you're watching on the stream and just saw the stream disconnect, I have it set up so that it should automatically detect that and just buffer the video, so you may lose a moment, but it should more or less resume where we left off. You'll just be that many seconds behind. So if you're planning on commenting, asking questions about something that is immediately in front of me, it won't be, because you are a few seconds behind and I may have moved on. And it takes a few seconds to type things anyway. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's this load up a bit. Haven't seen any deserts yet. It's all been fairly temperate so far. Maybe that's a coincidence. Like I said, do the different seeds. It's like a given seed. Is it biased towards certain biomes? Or is it just the area you happen to be in? Okay, so maybe there's some desert over here, or maybe this is just a tall beach. Well, it's next to a swamp, so it's like, I would hope it's a beach and not a desert, because a swamp and a desert don't seem like they would mix all that well. Hello, terrain. Getting good frames per second right now, but it's kind of seems to be pausing the terrain generation. Not sure why. But it's not like it was churning something on the processor. I wonder what was happening there. Hopefully nothing that bodes ill for my drive or anything like that. Because this system is not that old. It is an SSD though, and actually my first SSD. Supposed to be a good one. Samsung's supposed to be a good brand for that, I think, from what I hear or understand. But it's not like the technology is like really, mature as, the platter hard drives, where there's been lots of refinement and lots of know-how going into making it really robust. If they bother to do that and not try to cut corners, which is something else that can go on as well. We've got a little village over here. Let's head on over. So we've been skirting the coast, and so far, other than that cove, we've not really seen a lot of cliffs. So we may have to, if assuming the next snapshot, if there is a next snapshot, and I hope so, because there are still definitely a lot of things to iron out. They need to figure out the whole old to new terrain generation transition. They're still not filling in the blocks underneath the existing bedrock in Java Edition. Yeah, they got still a lot to work out. I think we're definitely going to be having some more snapshots. Assuming they don't, again, entirely revamp the terrain generation so that you're getting a whole new layout of terrain and biomes, and the ones coming up, like we've had. This is like the second one that we've had in here. Yeah, assuming we don't have that, I do want to explore some more and find some more interesting landmarks that we can watch evolve over time, if they do in fact change much at all from this point. I mean, the changes that we've seen so far have been at times absolutely radical. Just absolutely spectacular as well. And from that first experimental snapshot that they did, um, things vary just so much during those. And it was basically them just playing with terrain generation. It's like, what can we do? What should we do? What do we want to do? You know, all that kind of thing. How do we do this? And initially, it was just such a jumble. Now it's starting to feel like a world. You know, you have, you know, the plains and everything are much bigger. Everything's not, things are not cramped at all. Um, Going from biome to biome, it's not like, you know, well, I mean, here you got a little strip of forest and then savanna. Um, but you don't have that in the initial experimental snapshots. It's like stuff like that was just constant. It was like nothing but that. This is kind of weird. This little spot of jungle just on this island here, but you can see it. You know, I guess the seeds just kind of wafted over, or were blown or rafted over from the jungle over here, which is kind of broken up by the shoreline here. Hello. Here we go. So it looks like maybe we just have a little bit surrounding this beach area here. And then maybe it goes, yeah, it looks like it goes farther over here, where we get the jungle more in earnest. And I guess you have a little, sort of a bushy jungle clearing there. Like we got a bit of a rise in the ground here. Let's see if we get any mountains here, or is it just still just hills? I want to see mountains. This is supposed to be Caves and Cliffs, or Caves and Cliffs Part 2. Let's see them. I don't want just the one little area of cliffs. Am I just like threading the needle between all these, you know, mountain biomes or something? Well, like I said, if they keep the same basic terrain generation, it's a little better. And what do we have here? Just a little savanna there. What direction are we going here? North? Okay. We'll continue north. Looks like we got some swamp over here. That's something else that's going to be changing in 1.19. The swamp biomes. And I'm wondering, they're talking about adding mangrove swamps. I'm wondering if it's just going to be a matter of, say, if you have a swamp biome that maybe there's going to be some chance that it will be a mangrove swamp. Or, you know, have some mangroves in it. So if you have like a world that you're upgrading from 1.18 to 1.19, and so you have like a partially explored swamp, you know, will those new chunks maybe possibly kind of transition into being a mangrove swamp on like whatever other side of the swamp there? Or if you were to reseed it, you know, and maybe have some certain percentage of the swamp biomes be mangrove instead, but otherwise have swamps in the same place. I would hope that they would do that, because that would make some abrupt changes if if they did it otherwise. So for the sake of upgradability, unless they're really feeling their oats after doing a successful whoops, it's gonna be stormy there. After successfully figuring out how to get things to upgrade from pre 118 to 118, if they're really feeling their oats on that, maybe they'll be like, oh yeah, we can totally change, how these things are laid out, or make whatever changes like that. Say, oh, this was a plain. Oh nope, this little section is now mangrove swamp, or this was a beach. Nope, mangroves now. I would hope they wouldn't do stuff like that. Just the way that things were changing into 118, and really the new world height and the way things were generating so much taller, it really kind of necessitated enlarging the biomes, so that they're not just so, cramped and narrow and all that stuff. They needed a bit more room to spread out. That was necessary, I think. Just introducing some new biomes, I don't think that really, especially when it's just variations on an existing biome, I don't think that really necessitates, making, that kind of huge changes as far as like where those are going to be found. Like they're going to be making some changes to the birch forest as well. Presumably and hopefully they will still be in the same locations. So if you have like, one that's like just generated out to the edge like this is, and you go out there and then generates farther in 119, well, then it will be the new type birch forest. And I think they're basically going to maybe making the birch trees taller, and I think spaced a little bit farther apart. And I'm wondering if they're going to be doing that in a way that keeps the same balance of like the volume of wood that a given area will produce, so that as a resource, as far as like having the birch wood from this forest, taller but more spaced out trees, same amount of total wood. Yeah, I don't know if that is. I don't know, I'm not sure if that is a balance that they are looking to strike as they make that change, or not. I don't know if it's something that they feel is important, or if they just want to make them taller, like maybe twice as tall, but maybe reduce the number of them by like a quarter or a third, so you've actually got more wood. I don't know. I mean, it's renewable. If you want a lot of birch wood for your builds, you're going to get saplings from harvesting those trees, and you're going to plant them, and you're going to get some more wood. So there you go. So maybe that might not be that much of a concern. Maybe their main concern would be just, oh yeah, making it look nicer, because you go out to these birch forests and like, oh yeah, they're actually a lot taller than this, and it's all and more open and airy and all this stuff, and more flowers growing around and stuff. And that's kind of how they described it in Minecraft Live, and they may be just saying, let's just make it like that. They'll be taller, they'll be a bit more spaced out, and it'll look nicer, and maybe just that total amount of wood, in a forest, at generation, might not be a concern at all, really. Since wood is a renewable resource, So it's not like ores where it's like, oh, we want to try to balance out, okay, how much of this ore is going to be available in a chunk, you know? Um, so yeah, they seem to be kind of trying to balance that out. Um, although the way things are more spread out, since everything is deeper, it's going to take more mining to do all this. So there is definitely going to be more of a motivation to try to get some good enchants on your mining equipment in order to make things make it easier to mine a higher volume of blocks. But that still leaves a question. Where are the dang mountains? We've gone so far and not found mountains. I'm kind of disappointed in that. I was hoping we'd find a bit more. But maybe next time we'll sort of strike out to the west or to the east, or maybe these chunks will generate into some decent mountains. Maybe? Maybe not. I'm seeing the tops of trees poking out from behind there, so maybe not. But we'll take a closer look anyway. Maybe there's some on the other side. Maybe these are just the foothills. But yeah, for the next snapshot, when we're doing our explorations, maybe we'll go in a different direction. As far as interesting landmarks, I was hoping to find and note a few in the course of this video. Turned out to be mostly a little bit of a gab fest. And just flying over some, peaceful scenery. Which, hey, nothing wrong with that. But, yeah, I was hoping to find something a bit more spectacular that we could revisit as the snapshots progress, to see how that terrain progresses. But things have matured fairly well, it seems, as far as terrain generation. At this point, I think it's mainly some fine tuning. I think with the greater verticality and the way the cave carving and all that is a bit different, I'm thinking they need to revisit how villages are generated. Because from what I've seen, flying over these villages and then going down to take a closer look at them, you look at them from up top and it's like, oh yeah, classic, little village layout, paths going in different directions, and houses and other buildings along them. And then you take a closer look and you can see it's like they just did that two-dimensionally and then just dropped it down onto the terrain. In some cases, kind of putting the houses down in the caves and stuff. Again, watch that video I was talking about on YouTube. It's a cool one. But otherwise, it's just projected it down onto just whatever the heck terrain happens to be there. And it ends up being something, it's just like an urban planner's nightmare. It's just like, why the heck would you make the paths in your town like this? Why? What possessed you to think that this was a good idea? To put things, And what I think needs to happen, and I've said this on some of my other videos as well, and I hope someone at Mojang gets the word on this and this idea, and maybe they've had it already, is to basically kind of grow it a bit more organically. Basically picking a spot for the village center, establishing that, and then basically using pathfinding to figure out where the paths are gonna be and where the houses are gonna be, and just have that, use some pathfinding to branch out from that town center. Oh, the weather. In order to have a bit more of an organic layout to a village, a bit more workable a layout, something that will, where, the foot traffic or whatever will actually flow. Oh, here comes a forest fire. Yep. But yeah, just do that. I mean, I realize that, yeah, that might take a bit more time as far as the terrain generation or whatever. But it seems obvious that they're kind of doing these things kind of beyond, the chunks that have generated so far anyway. It seems something that could be done. Maybe just go ahead and pre-generate and when you get a village, it's like, okay, yeah, let's just go ahead and generate the chunks that are under the village, or that are surrounding it, as needed. As it runs through its village expansion algorithm. Excuse me. Because each village you come to, it's just only going to do that once. So you might see a little bit of lag, your first time encountering a village, or as it comes within, that generation range. Hello. Speaking of generation, can we get some? Whoa, man. Okay, that crew had a time. There's going to be some stories with that. Anyway, yeah, I don't think it would be that much of a hardship to have, maybe, a little extra, load on the processor to make the villages. I don't think it would take that long, and also introduce some structures, I think, for bridges, either land bridges or villager constructed bridges over some of these ravines and rivers and such, rather than just laying down path blocks with maybe a few dirt blocks and stuff, kind of clinging to the bottom or whatever, or around them. Oh, we may have an actual mountain here. Maybe in some cases that would be appropriate for, like say if you're doing a land bridge. There's like a natural bridge crossing a ravine. If you want to make something like that, that would be good. Or you might have some gaps where it's like you decide, okay, there's a gap here. There's some suitable terrain on the other side of it for these villagers to, to build their structures. Let's make a bridge there. And maybe have like a bridge structure that's designed so that, it's, has like, the end portions, and then between them you can have 0 or more little, middle segments that can, repeat, so that the bridge can be of varying length, appropriate for the terrain. I think that would be a very interesting structure to see something like that, and you'd maybe have like a mountain with like a big gap in it, and then maybe with like some plateaus on top, and then you see a bridge going across it, with these the different parts of the village. I think that would be just amazing to find stuff like that. I think it would be so cool. Or if you don't want that stuff, kind of thing, just stick to the paths that the villagers can find, and not have them doing stuff like this. Little bridge to nowhere. Okay, all right, sure. Okay, sure. Maybe that's a fishing platform or whatever. I mean, the thing is, they do this. And they have stuff like the wooden planks here, making them a little bridge. It's down at in the water, so it's maybe not ideal. I'd like to see it like maybe come up with like a couple of steps and then go across and then down. I think that would be an improvement there. But there's other places where it's going across the water and it just puts down, dirt. It just puts down the path blocks. And it's just, I don't know. It's just awkward, I think. Especially when, say the water below it is kind of deep. I'm not sure how deep it is here. Let's find out. Oops. Putting wrong keys here. Yeah. So you can see underneath this, it's just, they just added this blobs of land going over across here. And this is something I think they should do for, whoops, where's the way out? Let me come back over this way. This is something that I think they should do for ravines. Maybe have like a little natural bridge going over it like that. That's fine. That works. That seems good. But anyway, right now, this time around, we didn't really find all that much in the way of mountains. It looks like there's some over this way. Maybe we'll remember this area. Actually, let's take a look over here. Maybe we actually have some interesting mountains over this way. Finally, even though we're going a little bit over, and I really don't want to go over on these Monday streams because, like I said, I got stuff to do afterwards. So, yeah. Whoops, things are pausing while they generate. Come along, Minecraft. Craft your mines. And the mountains above them. Alright, well, some nice snowy cliffs here. That's pretty. Got the village right over here. Again, more of these paths just, on the water. Just with, some dirt clinging around them and stuff. It's a weird structure. I think it should be replaced with like bridges and stuff if they're going to be doing that. And it should be going to, natural islands and stuff like that are suitable for buildings. Otherwise, they should make their paths, and up here and put the buildings up on the hills and stuff like that. I think that would be a much better look. I think it would be a lot better. So that's something I think they need to consider for the upcoming updates. If not for the 1.18 update, I think that would be something that they could do. And I think it's something that's called for because you look at stuff like this, the villages going up the cliffs there, you're going to have more situations with this kind of terrain generation. You're going to have situations like that, and if you're going to have villages in these places, I think they need to be structured appropriately. Let the villagers, build stairs going up these slopes. Let them, put ladders in places where it's too steep for stairs. At least to some limited height. But anyway, I think that is going to be it for today because I got places to be. and I'm sure some of you do too. But try to be here next week. I believe I'll be doing it again on Monday. Back to Mondays for the most part. If we have like a Monday holiday or anything like that, I'm going to reschedule for the Sunday night before at 11:15. But in general, it's going to be Mondays at 11 a.m. And of course, I do the Saturday night hardcore stream at 11:15 p.m. This is all Eastern time. So be there, and I'll see you. Bye.